who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. Cubs icon, Baseball Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg announced on Instagram he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer and has begun treatment. Detroit reached a deal with veteran tight end Zach Ertz, adding him as tight end Brock Wright is dealing with a forearm injury. Ertz expected to be elevated to the active roster for Sunday's NFC Championship game. If the Lions, a 7-point underdog per ESPN bet, are to pull off the upset, their offense needs to do a couple of things, notes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
They want to run the ball and set up a play-action pass, and off the play-action pass, they want to throw the ball down the field vertically. St. Brown and the Reynolds. The secondary of the 49ers is outstanding. They leave their corners on islands, though. That's the problem. They're going to have a matchup against Field.
ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the 49ers consider it 50-50 as to whether receiver Deebo Samuel plays due to a left shoulder injury. Former Commanders coach Ron Rivera interviewing for the Eagles' defensive coordinator job.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. I'll tell you the reason your team will and won't win the conference championship. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Hope you had an awesome weekend. We're locked, loaded, a ton to do. Got the latest on the Saints offensive coordinator search. A new name. The Saints have requested an interview. Sean Fazende next hour. Kevin Faulk an hour from right now as well. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So we spent a good bit of time over the last couple of weeks here rejoicing as Alabama continues to watch its program burn. And with 30 players that have entered the transfer portal, one of the most common questions I've gotten from LSU fans is, hey, if there's all these Alabama players in the portal, why isn't LSU targeting them? And it's a good question. It's a fair question. And I think there's a layered response. The easy answer is they are, and they have. There's two in particular I'm going to talk about here in just a quick second that LSU missed out on over the weekend, so we're going to talk about that. But I think what probably has to be kept in mind most is something we talked about last week, if you remember. We went through my very unofficial roster count. So if you consider, when you look at LSU's roster, players they have returning, players they've added via the portal, the high school class they just signed in December, the potentially players they are going to sign in the February signing period. My very unofficial roster count has LSU at 90. Remember, you can only have 85. Now, you don't have to be down to 85 until fall camp. So there's going to be more attrition. So LSU's not going to add players that are projects. They're not going to add just to add. If they add a player at this point, it's someone who is going to be an immediate impact guy, a starter at a position of need. That's what they're going to be looking for. So I think you look at players that have hit the portal and say, okay, well, who's available? You could look at, Caden Proctor, Alabama's left tackle who went in the portal. Well, LSU doesn't need a left tackle. You got Will Campbell. So Caden Proctor goes to Iowa. Caleb Downs, all-America caliber safety who's going to Ohio State. Pretty clear that Ohio State, with all the chatter surrounding them, is they've been pretty heavy in the NIL space here in this portal season. Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Downs, there will be more. So you look at Isaiah Bond, great receiver. LSU doesn't really need a receiver. So who are you going to target? Well, LSU did target 2 Alabama cornerbacks that went into the portal. And this weekend, both players made their announcements, and neither picked LSU. And I want to get into why a little bit and where that leaves LSU. One is Trey Amos. And this is one that made sense because Trey Amos is a Louisiana kid. Played for 3 years at ULL and then transferred to Alabama. Well, this weekend, he committed to Ole Miss. So he'll go play for Lane in his final season here. So again, from Louisiana, went to ULL, played for 3 seasons, played a lot for 3 seasons at ULL. Then this last year, as a transfer into Alabama, played in all 14 games that he participated in, but was really just a rotational guy. He had 12 tackles on the season. So it's not like Trey Amos was a no-doubt, slam-dunk, number 1 starting corner. It's not to say he couldn't play, and it's not to say he wouldn't be a better option than the guys LSU has. But I don't think that's a no-brainer. So Trey Amos goes in the portal. LSU did target him, but ultimately he's leaving Bama and he's going to Ole Miss. The other is Jameer Grimsley. And Jameer Grimsley is interesting because LSU recruited him out of high school. He's out of Tampa. He just signed with Alabama in December. So similar to Julian Sayin, how we laughed about that, the 5-star quarterback. So Jameer Grimsley signs with Alabama in December. He was an early enrollee, so he went through bowl practice with them before the Rose Bowl. Couldn't play, but practiced. And then Nick Saban announces his retirement. Grimsley goes into the portal. And one of the teams that was his finalists, in coming out of high school, was Florida. Of course, he was being recruited by Corey Raymond, so the thought was, well, Corey's now in Baton Rouge. Could LSU get him? Ultimately, kid's from Tampa. He's committed now to Florida. So you didn't get Grimsley either. And I know there's probably a tendency to say to hem haw, but I don't know that either one of those guys are the guys that necessarily you're looking at saying that's the player that's going to reshape our team. One of the things that I do often say is actions speak louder than words. I know I say that a lot, but I think it's a tenet to live by. Watch what someone does, not what they say. In LSU continuing to pursue cornerbacks in the transfer portal, I think does illustrate where they feel like they have a really sincere need right there at cornerback. But I look at what LSU has at corner right now, and I don't know that I necessarily believe that any player that is available right now is a better option than who LSU has. Here's what I mean. If I look at who LSU has coming back at corner, you were bad last year. We all know that. And hopefully it's going to change with a better scheme and staff and all that stuff, but just talent, right? Well, J.K. Johnson, who transferred in last year from Ohio State, suffered a leg injury in fall camp and didn't play at all. He's going to be healthy. You'll get an opportunity, presumably, to see what J.K. Johnson can do. You signed J.R. Brown from Ohio State out of the transfer portal already. And you've got Zy Alexander, who really was your best cornerback this past year. Tore his ACL on the last play of the first half against Army, missed the rest of the season. He'll have to rehab it and see if he's good to go or when he might be good to go for next year. So while, yes, Zy Alexander, J.K. Johnson, 2 guys that you could be counting on, are both coming off of significant injuries, and you don't know how good they're going to be, are available and presumably being better options. So J.K. Johnson, Zy Alexander, Jair Brown, those 3 guys I think are a good starting point and are probably better options than Amos or true freshman Jameer Grimsley. After that, you've got guys that played a lot this year out of necessity. Ashton Stamps, who we found out after the season, played through an injury this year. Might he make a leap year 1 to year 2? Javian Toviano, Jeremiah Hughes, Ryan Robinson. I guess Sage Ryan could still play corner if you need. The point is, you got 8 cornerbacks Like you have a lot of bodies there. And I think your first three are really good, and we'll see if any of those freshmen step up. And that's not even counting the incoming guys, the 2 incoming freshmen you have, which makes 10 cornerbacks. So your numbers at corner are really good, and you're probably going to have more attrition at that position after spring. But really, I think the question comes down to, is there anybody available in the portal right now that is a better option than the guys that you have? And I don't know that you do. I don't believe that's the option. I'm looking right now at the On3 transfer portal, and if you look at the players, just looking at cornerbacks in the portal and who's available, you can pull this up, Paulie. Seth Robertson from Georgia Southern, he's undecided. Just look through the list of the undecided cornerbacks. Jordan Shaw, sophomore from Arizona, undecided. Hunter Sellers from New Mexico is undecided. The best name in the portal at cornerback that's undecided right now is Jabbar Muhammad. So Jabbar Muhammad is a guy who was with Kalen DeBoer at Washington this past year, was a starting cornerback for him, jumped in the portal after DeBoer left, and I think it's logical to think that Jabbar Muhammad is probably going to end up with his former coach there in Tuscaloosa. That makes the most sense if it does go that way, and we'll see how it all plays out. But maybe you throw your hat in the ring on Jabbar Muhammad, and we'll see how that all plays out. But either way, I think the point being, if you're wondering why LSU hasn't been more aggressive right now, number one, they're heavy on numbers, and as a result, they're really only going to be targeting starting caliber players at positions of need. You're not taking guys that are luxuries anymore. You're taking guys that are going to help you win day one. And unless and until someone like that goes in the portal, you're probably not going to take him. So it might be something where we watch it after spring when the next portal window opens, when you start to sort of see how starting jobs and competition may shake out at other places. Or maybe LSU decides they got to go be aggressive with NIL money to pluck someone away. But however it may play out, that's pretty clear where LSU is looking. It's going to be corner and defensive tackle, but it's got to be starting caliber players that make you better the day they step on campus. All right, it's After Further Review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with Bud Light and our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Great news, man. I think most people know around town the Bella Bowman Foundation. They have a tennis tournament this week, and of course our friends at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light are sponsoring the Bella Bowman tennis event for the Bella Bowman Foundation this week. Just another way that you continue to see Mockler Beverage and Bud Light so involved in our community as they have been for more than 40 years. I've told you this number before, but last year they sponsored more than 80 golf tournaments. That's essentially more than one a week. It's incredible the way that they continue to give back, and while we're proud to stand with our friends at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. So also, I'll remind you, the women's basketball national championship bottles have been a huge hit. So when you go to great retailers around town, make sure you look for them. It's the 16-ounce aluminum bottles with the LSU women's basketball national championship logo on it. First time ever. Yeah, thank you, Paulie. There it is, back screen. First time ever that any of us can recall that a women's basketball team has had their own beer can. So you can pick them up. They're collector's items. You find them all. Drink the beer too, but you find them all over town. And, of course, this Thursday, giant one with LSU against South Carolina, number 1 South Carolina coming into the Maravich Center. So you better believe when you're at the PMAC, you can be drinking an ice cold beer. Make sure you get a Bud Light in that national championship can. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, we'll knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, the Saints have added another name to their OC candidate list. So, again, they formally requested an interview with another candidate. We'll talk about that person next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Of course, I love telling you about the G team, all the members of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys NIL team. He calls it, of course, the G team. And the latest that they added is LSU men's basketball player Jordan Wright. Really great story. Jordan was on with us last week. We know the story from Dunham here in Baton Rouge. He was actually an AAU teammate with JG, with John Gordon, Gordon's son. Went to Vanderbilt, now back home. And Jordan Wright now a member of the G team, the latest member of the G team. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. And if you're interested in learning more about the G team or getting any other great content like the thing they're doing right now is Riding with G, another series that they're doing. Kim Mulkey in the car side by side with Gordon McKernan, and they kind of have a one-on-one conversation as they drive around town. You can check all that out on their social media at Get Gordon. Go to any of the social media platforms at Get Gordon. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman Family.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, the Saints have requested an interview, a formal interview with another potential OC candidate. I'll get to that here in just a quick second. Let me do a quick basketball sort of whip around from the weekend. We talked about it on Friday. The Pels hosted the Suns. Super disappointing because the game sold out, and man, it was a fever pitch and a great opportunity with Durant and Booker and those guys coming into the Smoothie King Center, and God, they gave up 52 points to Devin Booker. Here was Willie Green after the loss.
Not our best night on either side of the ball. Defensively, I didn't think that they felt us all game. They played pretty comfortable, and give them credit. They came in and they dominated the game.
Most disappointing too because we typically see the Pels play up, and expected a better effort. But I mean, Devin Booker's the type of guy that can go off for 52. He did. It's 1 out of 82. It's not like it's devastating. The Pels still lead the division at 25-18, and you host the Jazz tomorrow, so it's a great opportunity. But mostly because you you'd been on a roll. You'd blown out the Hornets. You did well on that West Coast road string where you blew out Sacramento, you blew out Golden State, and you had not only a sellout crowd, but you also had the local TV broadcast, the over-the-air broadcast as well with Gray Sports. So more people were able to watch the game and kind of laid an egg. So that's a bummer, but it's one of 82, and you get another chance tomorrow night. Matt McMahon and the basketball Tigers at home had an opportunity. We'll talk more about this later, but they just got killed on the glass. We all expected to see in College Station a week ago, but it worked out for the Tigers. Then it didn't work out. They just got crushed. It was 21-6 on the offensive glass. A&M had 27 second chance points. I mean, you just can't win a game when you're allowing your opponent that much. So basketball Tigers lost, and then Kim Mulkey and the women came back on Sunday, and Kim Mulkey talked about the response after losing in the midweek to come back and beating Arkansas the way they did.
I was pleased at Alabama the other night. Even though we went in halftime down a point or two, I could see things that had nothing to do with the score that we were doing better. And I just thought, if we can head down this road and we can keep that focus in the areas that I'm talking about, we're going to get better. And I thought you saw that today. I thought you saw that today. It was a game that we pretty much were special on both ends of the floor.
Thursday is a huge one. A College Game Day will be there at the Maravich Center. It's LSU against number 1 South Carolina. So a top 10 matchup. It will probably be the most attended game all year. I know our friends at Mockler will be out there as well for College Game Day. We're thinking, we're talking about this before the show with my guy Steve Levy, Stevie Levy, the king of the wing over at Pluckers. Talking about maybe doing a game watch over at Pluckers on Nicholson. Let me know if you'd be interested in something like that. I can get Hudco involved. We do some Hudco hats. I know our friends at Mockler will have a ton of swag. Probably have these national championship koozies and stuff. But if you're looking to get together, let me know if you think there'd be interest in that. Tweet me or text me 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I think we're going to go ahead and do it, and we'll get behind it. We'll do a big game watch over at Pluckers on Nicholson for Thursday night's LSU South Carolina women's basketball game. All right, it's after further review. I'll get to the Saints OC story brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Remember, you always get the Lee Michaels experience at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, you know Valentine's Day, we're less than a month away, and if you want a custom diamond, a custom piece of jewelry, they do that. And at Lee Michaels, because they have 10 stores across 3 different states, they have a better selection, and they can get what you want. If you want to custom make a piece of jewelry, you can do that. At Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, you will always get a beautiful, sparkling diamond that will thrill her. And if for whatever reason, I mean, and I know a lot of times now it's, maybe a guy and maybe his fiance go pick out the ring together. But guys, if you're old-fashioned, you want to do it yourself, you get something and she doesn't love it, they accept returns. You can exchange it for something she will love. So they want you to love the piece of jewelry, the beautiful diamond that you're buying. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. The Saints have formally requested an interview now with a 4th OC candidate. We had already talked about Dan Pitcher, the Bengals quarterback's coach, Zach Robinson, the Rams quarterback's coach, and Shane Waldron, Seattle's offensive coordinator. Now a 4th name formally requested by the New Orleans Saints is Gerard Johnson, the Houston Texans quarterback coach. If that name sounds familiar, it should to fans around here. Gerard Johnson was an all-time great quarterback at Texas A&M. He started there from 2008 to 2010, and he finished his Aggie career with the 2nd most career passing yards in school history. So Gerard Johnson had a great career there at A&M, had a short professional career, and then got into coaching in 2017. There's the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship program, and that allows minority candidates and minority coaches opportunities to get their feet wet in coaching on NFL staff. So he initially was with Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, was with Frank Reich with the Colts, and then just ascended rapidly through the ranks. Last year was with the Minnesota Vikings as the assistant quarterbacks coach, and then this year in 2023, he joined the Texans as their quarterbacks coach, where he worked with, obviously, C.J. Stroud, who had a monster rookie season, as we all well know, and now Gerard Johnson is getting looks for OC jobs. Someone asked me this morning, who my choice was. Like if I could pick who my choice was for Saints OC. And I didn't have an answer. And I hate that because I tell you every day, man, if you come to the show and I'm talking about something, I'm gonna have an opinion. You may not like it, like you may disagree with me, and that's fine. But you're never gonna wonder. I wonder what Scone thinks about this. I'm always gonna tell you what I feel. I mean, that's the nature of a sports talk show. You have opinions. So I hate that I don't have a hard and fast opinion on this. But the really tough part is when you look at the way that offensive coordinators are being hired. You know the old adage, like the NFL is a copycat league, and it's true. I'm going to illustrate this here in a second. But it's so hard because I feel like we have so little information. What I do know is what I'm looking for in an offensive coordinator. Maybe by telling you what I don't want, it'll tell you what I want. What I don't want is an NFL retread. Look at the top offenses in the NFL right now. And what do they all have in common, man? You look at some of the best offenses in the NFL, and you consistently see young offensive minds, young offensive play callers, plucked from McVay's tree or Shanahan's tree. Like Mike McDaniel is a 40-year-old head coach who had just been an offensive coordinator for one season before he got that job. Look at Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, 38 years old. Had been an OC for 1 year, and then he gets the head coaching job. Or he had one OC stop, he gets the head coaching job. When you look at how this is progressing, I mean, even back to Sean McVay became an offensive coordinator in the NFL at 27 years old. And look at what happened. So everyone is trying to replicate that success. So I look at, McVay became Washington's OC at 27. Bobby Slowick. Look at Houston. We're talking about Gerard Johnson. Bobby Slowick, this year in 2023, this was his first year as an offensive coordinator. He's 36 years old. He had just been an assistant in Washington and then San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. He gets hired by Houston as the OC 1 year as the OC. Now Bobby Slowick's getting head coaching interviews. Look at Ben Johnson in Detroit. You see the pattern. These are all 30-somethings, all guys in their 30s who are young and got their first opportunity to run an offense off of these super successful offensive staffs and coaching trees, and they're crushing it. Now they're getting head coaching opportunities. So when I tell you what I don't want is going down the path of an NFL retread of a guy who's been there. And I know it's a 180 from how I feel generally when we talk about college, but I think it's different because you have systems in place, you have certain advantages, and you don't have to take certain risks. But you're also talking about college athletes as opposed to professional athletes. If you're an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and some of these guys are younger than the quarterbacks they're calling plays for, so you're going to have that sort of symbiotic relationship between OC, head coach, quarterback. So it's a little different when you take that risk in the NFL as opposed to college. So when I look at the four guys, the three that the Saints have already interviewed, now requesting an interview with Gerard Johnson, it's worth mentioning Shane Waldron today reports that he's going to be the Bears offensive coordinator. So you scratch him off the list. And if you look at the three that the Saints have interviewed or requested an interview, Dan Pitcher, the Bengals quarterbacks coach, who's in his 30s, Zach Robinson, the Rams quarterbacks coach, who I think just turned 40, and then Gerard Johnson now, who's a guy in his 30s, 35 years old. They all fit that profile of what is winning right now in the NFL offensively. Look, I mean, we'd say it. A top 5 offense in the NFL this year was the Buffalo Bills. Joe Brady, who really had a rebirth there from quarterbacks coach. Ken Dorsey gets fired, elevated to play caller, and that's what turned them around this year. So that's what I want. I want a young, innovative offensive mind. It's my native language theory. I talk about it all the time. It's these young coaches who all they have ever known in football is spread, hurry up, no huddle, RPO. That's 7-on-7. That's all they've ever known in football as players and coaches, as opposed to guys that are in their third decade, fourth decade of coaching where they've seen the evolution. And sometimes you can be rigid in your ways. So I don't know if Gerard Johnson is the guy. This is where I get to where I hate to not give you a hard and fast answer, because if you're asking me to differentiate between Dan Pitcher, Zach Robinson, Gerard Johnson, maybe someone on the Saints staff like Ronald Curry, I can't. I mean, I don't know enough. These guys are position coaches, quarterback coaches, and it's really just who do you feel most comfortable that is going to be able to assimilate within your organization, work with your quarterback to function offensively. But that's stylistically what I want. What I don't want is John Gruden. What I don't want, there's reports say Chip Kelly is being targeted by some to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. I don't want Chip Kelly. I want a young, innovative offensive mind that's going to grow into that role and modernize this offense. And maybe more importantly, I want new culture in New Orleans. I'm ready to. Pete Carmichael's gone. Thank you for all you did, Pete Carmichael. I don't know that anybody was as effusive with praise for Carmichael as me on the way out the door. A lot of people celebrated his firing. I can understand there's time for a change, but also recognizing the great job that he did in New Orleans for nearly 2 decades. But I'm ready for that. I'm ready for Dennis Allen to be gone. I'm ready for Mickey Loomis to be gone. I'm ready for a change in the culture and the way the Saints go about doing things, and I think this is part of it. Now, another big question for New Orleans is how desirable is the job? If I get it, there's 32 NFL offensive coordinators. People are going to want the job. My point is, look at Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron had options. He's going to Chicago with Matt Eberflus, where he's either going to have Justin Fields or the number 1 pick in the draft, Caleb Williams, however it's going to go. That's a way more desirable spot than New Orleans with a head coach that might be fired and Derek Carr. So I don't know. You didn't get Shane Waldron. Who else in that pecking order is going to be a target for New Orleans? And that's going to be a desirable spot. It remains to be seen. So I can't tell you definitively that I have a hard and fast answer of who I want to be the offensive coordinator, but I can tell you what I want and certainly what I don't want at OC. We'll keep following this as it moves along as the Saints try to finish off their staff. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. We got a ton to do. Also, preseason Heisman odds for next year out. I'll tell you where Nussmeier is on that list. And we'll get to what we learned, recapping the NFL playoff weekend, the divisional round, all that's coming up here in this hour. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Seagan near Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every single day to buy local and shop local. Miss Teresa over at Clegg's was letting me know last week, obviously with the freeze that came in, that they were restocked on the tarps, right? So the sheets to cover all of your plants and trees and things like that with the freeze. But they were waiting on the pipe covers to come in as well. But it's worth giving them a call or just stopping by to check in. They got full greenhouses. And, of course, if you're just looking to do some outdoor maintenance or if you need anything for your garden decor, Clegg's has got you covered at any of the locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Look, when it's cold outside, this is actually the perfect weather. This is the time of year to plant trees. So, I mean, look, the ground's thawing out right now, but it's a great time to plant right now from Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area and be sure to tell them that Matt sent you in. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery. Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you live coverage of the 2024 Reese's Senior Bowl. Our team of T-Bob Hebert and Jacob Hester will be hosting Off the Bench live from Mobile, Alabama, Monday, January 29th through Thursday, February 2nd. Listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel.
It helps if it's on. People can't hear when I'm over the broadcast signal.
I mean, I know, but they also didn't hear that it was off, and because it was off. And then when I turned it on, it could have just rolled.
They might have heard me. They might have heard me through your mic over there.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
we'll have to check the tape, won't we?
I guess we could. I don't know. I don't know if it'll come up there, Muse. They do a good job, though. Senior Bowl next week. I'm excited about that. So T-Bob and Jake will be there Monday through Thursday, right? And then they can come back on Friday, right. I think is what we got them doing. So always a great week, great coverage. And one of the really cool things, honestly, about the Senior Bowl and those guys going up there is it's the access. Because it's not like at SEC Media Days where there's 50, 60 some odd radio stations. I mean, we might be one of a handful that goes. So Jake and T-Bob will have access to all the players and all the coaches and staff and everybody there. So they do a great job. We're looking forward to those guys being there. Make sure you're locked in next week, Monday through Thursday. Jake and T-Bob for Off the Bench will be over there at the Senior Bowl. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. I saw this earlier today. Muse dropped me this note. DraftKings has put out their first Heisman odds, the preseason Heisman odds for next year. Of course, I wanted to go right to see where Garrett Nussmeier was. He is at plus 2,200. So Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers are co-favorites. And then followed by Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel. Of course, Milroe at Alabama and Gabriel now at Oregon, replacing Bo Nix. So Beck, Ewers, co-favorites. Milroe, Gabriel have the second best odds. Will Howard at Ohio State at plus 1,600. DJ Uiagalelei at now. Remember, DJU's now at Florida State. He's at plus 2,000. And then Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Garrett Nussmeier, all at plus 2,200. Followed by Riley Leonard, Will Rogers, who doesn't even have a team. Will Rogers is at plus 3,000. We don't even know where he's going to play. He committed to Kalen DeBoer at Washington and now decommitted with DeBoer going to Alabama. Anything else here of note? It's odd because you don't get to a non-quarterback until, is Travis Hunter the first non-quarterback on this list at plus 6,000, or is there someone else I'm missing?
The only other one I could think of would have been Ollie Gordon, but I don't remember what his odds were.
Ollie Gordon's he's at plus 7,000.
So then, yeah, it probably is Hunter.
That's crazy. I mean, so like candidly, Miller Moss. It's funny they list both Jaden Maeva and Miller Moss, both from Southern Cal, as plus 4,000. I guess whoever wins, they're basically saying whichever USC quarterback wins a starting job. I don't know. Noah Fafita, I guess, is the Arizona quarterback. I guess I don't know who Noah Fafita is. I'm not going to pretend that I do. So anyway, but the point is Garrett Nussmeier plus 2,200. Only Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, DJU have better odds than Garrett Nussmeier. It makes sense. I mean, that's the respect that the LSU program is going to get now with 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks over a span of 5 seasons. So yeah, I mean, the sports books better protect themselves with those odds. And LSU is going to spread out, sling it. They're going to have good athletes, and Garrett's going to put up numbers. It's really going to come down to how does the season go. The one that I thought maybe is the best value, I think, is probably Will Howard at plus 1,600. Just think about, I get that he's going to Ohio State now from Kansas State, has played a lot of football. Just think of all that they've got. They're going to have an amazing defense. They added Quinshon Judkins. That Ohio State team should be awesome this year. And putting a lot of pressure on other teams, Will Howard will probably be able to take some chances because the defense is going to be so good. I feel like that's probably really good value there with Will Howard at plus 1,600. But we'll see. DraftKings first Heisman odds are out. Okay, we'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. Love telling you about Pure Restoration. I know I say this often, and so many of you actually do it, which is why I keep repeating it. If you ever can't remember the name or the website, you can always reach out to me and just say, hey, Scone, what's the mold thing you always talk about? People say, what's the mold spray you talk about? Well, it's Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. Look, we had all the ice last week, and so a lot of people, when we had ice and then we're going to have rain this week, that's when a lot of people realize they got water intrusion that can lead to mold or other issues. If you need remediation help, Pure Restoration. So many other companies will cut sheetrock and pull out carpet. It's a wet fog that they spray. Pure Restoration is a patented non-toxic dry fog, meaning nobody else can do it. It's proprietary. Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. Mold, odor, other harmful pathogens. Think about sanitization. So if you're in a hospital, a school, church, gym, locker room, workout facilities, yoga studios, all that. Pure Restoration can come in. They can fog. It's affordable. It's efficient. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Or just message me and say, Scone, what's the mold thing you always talk about? Pure Restoration. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Special teams coach Pete Lembo has been hired to be Buffalo's next head football coach. Lembo's 53 years old. He got a 5-year deal. Lembo, previously head coach at Ball State, where he was for 5 years.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Defensive back Trey Amos, leaving Alabama, announced he's transferring to Ole Miss. He was a depth piece for Alabama in 2023, started his career at ULL. Played in all 14 games for the Tide this past year. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. Of course, he joins former Alabama defensive coordinator Pete Golding now at Ole Miss.
The Florida Gators.
Jameer Grimsley, another former Alabama cornerback, is now committed to Florida via the transfer portal. Grimsley was one of several Alabama players that hit the portal, obviously, after Nick Saban retired, one of 30, actually. Class of 24, Grimsley never played for a game for Alabama, but considering he was an early enrollee, he did go through Rose Bowl practice for the college football playoff semifinal with the Crimson Tide. He was a 4-star prospect, the number 17 cornerback in the country.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee landed its first 2025 5-star recruit. Quarterback George McIntyre has picked the Vols. He's from Nashville. He obviously had previously been considering other schools, but ultimately decided to choose Tennessee. He's the number 9 overall prospect in the class at Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Michigan on his list. He's the number 2 rated passer for the class of 2025 behind a certain someone that's committed to LSU.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And Jeremiah McLeod became the 3rd member of Mississippi State's 2025 recruiting class on Sunday. He's a defensive lineman out of the state of Florida. He's the 2nd defensive player out of state joining Mississippi State's class this year with new coach Jeff Lebby. Okay, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We are glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. We always do what we learned from the weekend that was in the NFL. So divisional round playoff games, how'd it go? What did we learn? We'll talk about it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. If you are a business owner, that's who I'm talking to, business owners. If you are a business owner and you are stuck in the hiring rat race, you need Glow Resources because they can help. GLO, glowresources.com. That's glowresources.com. Glow Resources, they're not a staffing company. They represent the client. As a matter of fact, they really don't want employees reaching out to them. They'll find you, and they've got thousands of employees they've placed all over the country and all over the world. And Glow Resources handles everything. So if you're an employer, remember, Glow Resources has skilled blue-collar labor. They have a white-collar division as well. So if you're looking to hire management, maybe with it being tax season, an accounting firm, Glow Resources can help. And they handle everything: workers' comp, child support, deductions, health insurance, dental insurance, general liability. They do everything. And they have a 93% retention rate. It's Glow Resources. glowresources.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, Kevin Faulk, about 12 minutes from right now, coming up right after Sports Center. It was an awesome weekend of divisional round football games in the NFL. We always do our what to watch, so we come back on Monday, do what we learned. Muse, hit it.
We watched. Now let's review.
All right, we'll go in order The Ravens rallied after being tied at half 10-10. John Harbaugh on his team's second half adjustments.
We talked a little bit about just pass rush lanes. We talked a little bit about what defenses we were going to be in. Then offensively, we talked a little bit about completions, a little bit about a profit game. Let's get the thing going, not try to push the ball downfield quite as much. I think that also helped open up the run game a little bit. So Lamar did a great job. A lot of that was his thinking as well. I mean, he was all over what he thought we needed to do in the second half. Collaborative effort for sure. Todd deserves a lot of credit. I thought he called a great game, especially in the second half. And Mike was, he was on fire.
Lamar got him a playoff win. Muse, what was your takeaway?
Takeaway was, remember, we saw this game in week 1 of the season and then again here in the divisional. As great as Lamar Jackson was, and he was awesome, took over the game, the defense for the Ravens is just, they completely outmanned the Texans. In 8 quarters against each other, the Texans never found the end zone on offense. That was the biggest takeaway that I had.
That's right. They had the special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
Baltimore is legit. I know Lamar finally got his playoff win, but it's so hard to fault him for anything. He's so good. All right. You hit the little swooshy, the swoosh. Kyle Shanahan, after the game, was asked about this being a wake-up call for his team, considering the Niners should be like having exit interviews today, but the Packers grabbed the throat. Here was Kyle Shanahan.
I thought that was as big of a mental challenge and just a character game as any game I've been a part of. I mean, when things aren't going how you want on offense, defense, special teams, the rain, guys slipping a lot, losing Debo early, having to change some things with that, and just some of the mistakes we made to overcome. Like, it was a gut check for everybody, and couldn't be more proud of the people in there and just how they persevered.
Paulie, that was your game. What was your takeaway from Packers-Niners?
The biggest takeaway from that game was the Packers were way better than we thought they were. I do believe that they made the right decision going with Jordan Love over Aaron Rodgers.
Bold.
Other than the final
Brock Purdy stunk in that game.
Yeah.
Credit where it's due. Final drive, he was 6 of 7 for about 50 yards. He was awesome on the final drive when he needed to be. But make no mistake, the Packers outplayed the Niners. They grabbed the throat. Carlson missed the field goal. I mean, Green Bay is going to stew over that one for a long time because they had the 1 seed on the rope, should have won that game.
They dropped 2 interceptions in that game, too. One of them would have been an easy pick 6.
All right, hit the little swoosher there, Muse. I had Sunday's games. Bucks-Lions was the first one. How can you not love Dan Campbell? Here was Dan Campbell after the game on what this win has meant for the city of Detroit.
It's not the first thing you think of if you go to L.A. or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on. And here, man, and it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry, blue collar, things aren't always easy. And I just think that's what we were about. And that was, you want something the city can be proud of. Though you can look at those guys and say, man, I can back that guy. I can back that team. I can resonate with those group of guys. They're kind of salty. They don't quit. They play hard. And so I feel like we've done that. And I think these guys, they have a kinship with this city in this area.
I've seen a lot of people compare it to 2006 Saints post-Katrina. I don't love that comp because of I understand downtrodden franchise coming back sort of unexpected. That makes a lot of sense. But we all understand just the dramatic difference with what happened in New Orleans with Katrina, whether or not the team was even going to be here, whether the city would be there. But there are a lot of those vibes, the underdog vibes that a lot of people are cheering for. And there was nothing flukish about it. It was a 21-13. The Lions outscored the Bucs in the second half. C.J. Gardner-Johnson came up with the pick. He flipped the ball.
I miss him
the ball to Baker.
So much, man. And then he cussed him out on IG Live after the game.
It's so good. When the Bucs got the ball with a chance to go win it, or at least tie, did you think Baker was going to get it done? The drive there was completely anticlimactic. I mean, Baker threw an awful pass. It got picked right away.
I didn't.
I'm happy for the Lions. They're 12-5 on the season. They win the divisional round, back-to-back playoff wins after they hadn't won a playoff game since 1991. I guess the 91 season, January of 92. And now they go to San Francisco with a chance. And by the way, if San Francisco plays on Sunday the way they did on Saturday night, the Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl. So that is going to be a fascinating matchup with the way Jared Goff is playing right now. Okay, and hit the little swoosher. Finally, the Chiefs beat the Bills. Here's my one takeaway from this. Hit Sean McDermott, please, after the loss.
Obviously came up on the short end tonight. Give the Chiefs credit. Didn't play the way we needed to, I thought. in two of the three phases, defensively first and special teams. And I thought offensively did some really good things, some plays still left out there, but overall we didn't do enough defensively to impact the game more than we could have.
This is the one game I picked incorrectly. Muse, I want this on record, okay? So wherever you save files, save this one, put it away, password lock and key. If the Chiefs and the Bills play in the playoffs again next year, and I don't pick the Chiefs, you have the right to scourge me.
Okay.
Like corporal punishment. Like, you know how nuns used to whack you on the hand with the ruler or something like that? You're like, you have a right to do that to me next year. If these two teams are playing in the postseason and I pick against the Chiefs and the Bills, the Bills cannot, the Chiefs are their boogeyman. They're at home. They had every advantage in this game. They should have won the game, and they screwed it up. And some teams just can't, you just can't climb that mountain against another team. And there is a mental and physical block right now for the Buffalo Bills when they look at the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Chiefs, Ravens in the AFC Championship game. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break. Sports Center's coming up. We'll chat with Kevin Faulk to kick off hour number 2 next. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Always encourage you to get to the website because the website is a virtual font of knowledge and information for people who might be interested in learning more about what Michelli does. At Michelli, their slogan is, we show the world what measurement can do. You weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. From, you want to open up this beer bottle right here. Well, how much torque should it require to twist this cap? Well, that's calibrated by a machine. You know that. Well, Michelli calibrates those machines. Sometimes, maybe you have devices that need to be calibrated that can't leave your facility or you don't want to leave your facility. Michelli does on-site calibration, and it's not just in Louisiana. They have 30 offices across 11 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online. They're hiring as well. Hit the careers tab. Michelli.com. Again, online at Michelli.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said...
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Cubs icon, Baseball Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg announced on Instagram he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer and has begun treatment. Question marks surrounding the availability of 49ers receiver Deebo Samuel for Sunday's NFC Championship game against the Lions. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports San Francisco's giving him a 50-50 chance to play because of an injured shoulder. Pro Football Hall of Famer and First Take co-host Shannon Sharp.
For me, I don't see a scenario. I think they put medicine, Dio, you know this. I think they put medicine in. I don't think he practices this week, but I think they put medicine in that shoulder. Given the circumstance and the magnitude of this game, I don't see a scenario in which, unless that arm is falling off the bone, I don't see a scenario in which Deebo does not at least give it an opportunity or a chance to get himself into this ball game and play.
The Lions agreed to a contract with veteran tight end Zach Ertz. His addition comes after Detroit tight end Brock Wright sustained a forearm injury yesterday. Ertz likely will be elevated to the active roster for Sunday. Former Commanders coach Ron Rivera will interview for the Eagles defensive coordinator job. NBA Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis out against the Mavs tonight due to knee soreness.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Tuesday. I'll tell you the reason your team will and won't win the conference championship. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Our buddy Sean Fazende will be with us at the bottom of this hour. We'll talk Saints OC, the absolute latest. That's coming up in about 30 minutes from right now. 1 week from today, an organization that I think a lot of people have become familiar with here in the last several months, Rain Will Bring Flowers Foundation, is going to be having an event at the Maravich Center in conjunction with LSU, Our Lady of the Lake. It's going to be at the PMAC a week from today at 6 p.m., and it's all about mental health, the mental game, planting seeds of hope, an incredible roster of participants that will be there, including former LSU gymnast Ashley Natt, Jimmy and Robin Burrow will be there as well. Our buddy Brandon Seho, who was at WBRZ Television and left his TV career to pursue his passion of informing people and educating people on the importance of mental health. And our next guest, the greatest running back in LSU history, Kevin Faulk, who's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Kev, it's always our pleasure, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes. How are you?
I'm fine, man. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Always. I want to talk about the event here in a second, but I figured I'd have you. So let's talk a little ball first. We'll get to the event. I would love to get some thoughts on recent staff changes, and most notably, Corey Raymond. You were on staff with Corey at LSU, coming back to Baton Rouge. Thoughts on the additions?
Oh, definitely. Definitely pleased with it. Needed to be back, especially when Florida let him go. Like they say, sometimes another man's trash is another man's treasure. So he's been well for us in recruiting and actually developing players at the DB position. It was just unfortunate that he had to go away to come back. But hey, that happens in life.
Yeah. And we always talk, I mean, it's sometimes just how that path may go in coaching. I think most people that go into coaching understand it. I'd love to ask you also about the state of the running back position. Logan Diggs is transferring to Ole Miss, and we got to see a lot of the young pups with Caleb Jackson this past year. You know that position well. What do you think about Jackson being the guy that very likely takes the lion's share of the carries next year?
I'm excited, really excited to see what those young guys are going to do. Actually, I was with Josh Williams today, who was actually coming back. I'm sure, because he's talking like he was coming back. I'm not sure if he announced it, but he was talking like he was coming back. He's so loyal to this program, it's a shame.
Please, yeah.
Like the room back. I'm sorry, but I really like the room. I think that with the addition of the young guys and the freshmen they have coming in, who if I'm not mistaken, is considered a fast guy, a speed guy, but I also see the film on. I think he got some pretty good moves as well. So I'm excited about it. Like anything else, you got to get touches, to get the feel of the game and to feel the game.
Kevin, I'm glad you brought up Josh Williams too. He's coming back for his 6th season, and what a story to start as a walk-on and then to have done what he's been able to do. What is it? I don't know that you look at Josh Williams and you project a high NFL draft pick or even a guy that makes a roster. I have no idea. But what has Josh Williams meant to LSU, like on the field, having that guy in that running back room?
He's the epitome of loyalty. Josh Williams could have gone to a number of Division I schools for his education, and for say one, and to play football. But being that he was a LSU fan from childhood because his dad was friends with Harvey Williams, this is one of the places he wanted to come. And he was told that he could have earned scholarship, and that also speaks about the competitiveness of the kid and who he really is, a really good athlete in general, because he plays multiple sports. That's why he really wasn't getting recruited by highly, touted schools. But when it comes to just speaking about the, wanting to get better, the will to get better each and every week, Josh Williams is it.
Great Kevin Faulk is with us here for a couple of minutes. Kevin, you're going to be participating in an event next week, and we're excited here at Guarantee Media to be a small part of it and helping promote it. And I think a lot of people are familiar with the Rain Will Bring Flowers Foundation, a charity that was born out of tragedy, parents who lost their child to suicide, and now they're doing amazing work to spread awareness of the importance of mental health. It's I can't even imagine, Kevin, the what it's like as a parent. To go through losing a child. That's something that I think everyone knows that you went through as well. Can I just ask why you felt it was important to participate in this event next week?
Crazy thing is, Matt, it was more than just me losing a child. I don't want to give some of the things away that's going to be spoken about next week, but I've experienced more than that. Let's just say I've experienced more than just that, and some of the things that I have experienced was able for me to be able to deal with what happened. So, we all men, our pride that we try to hide everything, we be tough and everything, but sometimes we gotta let it go.
I know, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who come to the event. And I think it's going to be fantastic. We're looking forward to promoting it here over the next week. But I think sometimes, not only just athletes, Kevin, but people who just you live life, you're going to go through stressful situations. What do you say, or what do you encourage people whenever the idea of mental health is brought up? What do you think is important for people to know?
First thing is, we all want to deny it. That's the number one thing we want to do is deny it. I think it is to accept it and accept it as a positive thing, not as nothing negative.
It's yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry, Kevin. I think we might have broken up a little bit right there. But the event is going to be Monday, a week from today, at the Maravich Center at 6:00. And Kevin Faulk will be one of the featured panelists there as well, along with former LSU great gymnast Ashley Natt, our buddy Brandon Seho, Jimmy and Robin Burrow will be there as well. And a former Saint, Delvin Breaux, of course, went through, a near tragedy in his own life where he broke his neck, as we all know, and should have cost him his playing career, but had an amazing comeback to play in the NFL and then in the CFL as well. Kevin, we're looking forward to the event next week, man. We always appreciate when we get a couple of minutes with you, and we'll look for you next Monday there at the Maravich Center.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. That is Kevin Faulk. He'll be one of the panelists, as we mentioned, next week, a week from today, 6 p.m. Rain Will Bring Flowers Foundation in conjunction with the mental game. Again, that's, if you remember our buddy Brandon Seho, who was a sports reporter at WBRZ here in Baton Rouge. He was from Cincinnati. So he left Baton Rouge, went to his hometown of Cincinnati, was doing TV news there, covering Joe Burrow and the Bengals, incidentally, and left his career to pursue this passion. He has been pretty open about his bouts with mental health, attempted suicide, and said he's putting his career away and focusing on something that he felt was a passion, a calling. So Brandon's doing 50 states in 50 days right now. If you follow his any of his content there on social media, spreading awareness around mental health. And this will be a great event. LSU and Our Lady of the Lake Health System are getting behind this event big time a week from today, 6 o'clock over at the Maravich Center. So hope anyone or everyone can attend who might be interested in doing so. Appreciate a couple of minutes there with Kevin Faulk. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. We just briefly last hour touched on the LSU men's basketball team losing at home to A&M on Saturday. I want to dig a little deeper after that loss. And Sean Fazende, our buddy from Fox 8 New Orleans, will be with us here in about 19 minutes from right now. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Oh, man. As we inch closer to Carnival, it is king cake time. Man, over at Rouse's, you got to stop into Rouse's, y'all. You got to get by Rouse's. The Rouse's nearest you, because they got king cakes galore. Gourmet king cakes. You got to try them out. Nobody does it better than Rouse's. The official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You want to go get your Rouse's king cakes, do it right now. They could ship your king cakes anywhere as well if you're sending them to a little piece of home and a piece of Carnival season to family and maybe friends who live in other parts of the country. Rouse's can certainly help. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Also, man, they continue expanding, and I love this. The newest location of Rouse's is set to open up this Thursday. The grand opening of their Lafayette store on Camellia Boulevard is coming on Thursday, so make sure you make plans to be there. Tell everyone in the Lafayette area that it's coming this Thursday. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile bank.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
So on Saturday, we went to Erica works. My wife works at St. Jude School here in Baton Rouge, and Saturday had their auction, which is their annual fundraiser. And naturally, I IMC'd. It's funny. Erica always tells me, she's like, you got to learn to tell people no. You know, people ask you to do events all the time. You got to say no sometimes. And so then she asked me to MC the St. Jude auction. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. So you can't tell me no. That's how that goes, I guess.
Just practicing. You're like, try it out here. No.
How do you think that would go over?
Well, you emceed the event, so it tells me how it went over. Yeah,
I'll have a choice. No, but great people. Happy to do it, for sure. But at the event, if I was stopped one time, I was stopped a dozen times by people to express how much they are enjoying the Bama is Burning series. It's been pretty incredible, and they just keep feeding me content. If you haven't been here since Nick Saban retired, we have been just reveling in their grave and gross misfortune there in Tuscaloosa, and I keep pointing out how bad it is. Well, now I have triggered them all. I have triggered the Bama fans on Twitter. Their favorite pastime right now. They have moved on from bellowing about Nick Saban. They're directing all of their angst at me now, and all they're doing is just feeding me more and more content. They are just feeding the beast to keep the Bama is Burning thing going. So I have another installment coming up at the top of hour number 3. So in about 43 minutes, you might want to be here for that. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. LSU basketball lost on Saturday to Texas A&M. That was a bummer, but I think so much of this season with LSU basketball really is managing expectations. Here was Matt McMahon on Saturday after the Tigers dropped a close one to A&M, 73-69.
Great credit to Texas A&M for doing the things they needed to do to get the win. Obviously, they flipped the script on us from the first matchup where we were 18-3 in second chance points in our favor. Today, 27-0. Obviously was the difference in the game. You look at our defensive effort, I thought the energy effort, all of that was great. Probably held them in their first shot of possessions, somewhere around 29-30% from the floor, but couldn't finish the possessions with rebounds, especially there in the second half.
27-0. Did you miss that part? Like, that was the story of the game. Texas A&M out-rebounded LSU on the offensive glass 21-6. They're 21-6. Their 21 offensive rebounds led to a 27-0 advantage in second chance points. LSU did not have a single second chance point. Like, credit A&M, they realized where they got exposed in the first game or where LSU just outplayed them in the first game, and they fixed it. Texas A&M is one of the best rebounding teams in college basketball, and LSU went to Reed Arena and outplayed them, beat them on the boards, and that didn't happen twice. But even still, LSU had a chance. LSU opened the game on a 9-0 run. LSU led 9-0 to start the game. They sort of rallied, flip-flopped. LSU led by 2 at the half. A&M took a lead. LSU came back, tied it with about 4 minutes to play. And then down the stretch, LSU was down 3. It was 72-69 with about 40 seconds to play. LSU had possession, and it just wasn't a great look. Jalen Cook took a bad 3 and missed. LSU fouled. A&M finished it off at the line. They win by 4. And honestly, the last 3 or 4 possessions that LSU had all weren't great. But, I look at it, and what I'm going to keep coming back to is managing expectations. I want to remind you, this LSU basketball team was picked 13th in the preseason in the SEC. 13 out of 14. Only South Carolina was picked worse than LSU. There was not a single player on this LSU team that was on the preseason All-SEC first or second teams. So coming into this year, was nobody who thought nothing about this team that won 2 conference games a year ago. And I don't blame them. There wasn't a lot to think about with this team coming into the year. So when they started 3-1 in league play, they beat Texas A&M on the road. They end their long road SEC losing streak. They beat a ranked Ole Miss team here in Baton Rouge. Those are pleasant surprises. And that's a great thing. Whenever your expectations are low, and expectations were rightly low this year, coming off a year where you won 2 SEC games, you were atrocious. So yes, expectations were rightly low. And when you exceed expectations, it's fun. When you're a double-digit dog on the road at A&M and you win by double digits, that's fun. It's a pleasant surprise. Now, LSU was a home favorite over Ole Miss. Remember, unranked team favorite over a ranked team. Autoplay. And you beat number 22 Ole Miss. That's fun. It's a great win. But losing is expected. I hate to say it that way because I don't want you to become complacent. I mean, that's how programs get stuck in ruts. When you lose and apathy sets in. But I think there also has to be a healthy balance between what your expectation is and what your reality is. And right now, I think that balance is right with LSU. The expectation is, that you hope they squeeze out 6 or 7 league wins this year. And if they do that and have a shot to get to the NIT and taste postseason, that's a great stepping stone for next year. But that's also what's realistic for this team. I mean, this game, you want to talk about this game in a vacuum, it's easy to see what happened. I mean, you got crushed on the offensive glass. They dominated you on second chance points. And ultimately, that's how they won the game. You were still in it mostly because they missed 9 free throws. I mean, A&M at the free throw line was 11 of 20. They were 55% from the free throw line. If they make their free throws, this isn't a game. Meanwhile, LSU was 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Neither team shot it particularly well from 3. Both were just at 30% from 3. LSU was 11 of 34. A&M was 10 of 33. Look, Wade Taylor was a preseason SEC Player of the Year. He had a good game. He scored 19 points, was 6 of 17 from the floor, hit some big threes. So good for him. Hit 4 3-pointers. Good for them. But all of this to say, look, Matt McMahon was asked after the game, like, how do you respond to a loss like this? Here's what he said.
Like you respond to every game. Obviously we're disappointed in the loss. Don't think it was from a lack of effort or a lack of togetherness. I thought we competed at a high level. Just didn't get the job done on the glass, and they made the play. When it became a 3-minute game, they made the plays to get the win. So, I think if you're about winning and you're about building a team, you learn from it, and you come back in on Monday and get better and prepare for the next opportunity, which for us is Wednesday at Georgia.
So he mentioned Wednesday at Georgia. Keep in mind, the grind is coming. You've already gotten a couple of improbable wins. You won at Texas A&M. You beat Vanderbilt, which I think you expected to beat Vandy at home. You lost at Auburn, no crime there. You beat Ole Miss, which was unexpected. And then you just lost a home game to A&M, which is one you thought you could have gotten. But you go at Georgia on Wednesday, which you're going to be an underdog. Mike White's got them playing well. Then you're at Alabama. LSU historically has been awful at Coleman Coliseum. You're home against Arkansas. Arkansas is playing terribly this year, which is one of the biggest surprises in the league, if not the country. You can win that one at home. but then you're at Tennessee, and then you get Bama again, then you're at Florida. So when I look at it, of your next 6 games, I think you should beat Arkansas at home, and that might be it. Like, you might be 1-5 in your next 6, and I think that is a realistic expectation. If you can somehow find a way to scratch a win somewhere else and go 2-4 in your next 6 and come through that gauntlet with 5 SEC wins, I think that would be improbable, but really good. Then you're at South Carolina, and you're home against Kentucky. And then things lighten up a little bit. You get State at home, you get Georgia at home, you go to Vanderbilt, you go to Arkansas, and you're home against Missouri. So you have a stretch to finish the season. Your final 5 league games are all winnable after you play Kentucky at home. You can beat State and Georgia at home. You can win at Vanderbilt or Arkansas. You can beat Missouri at home. Like, your last 5 are winnable. You're not going to win all 5 of them, but they're winnable. This gauntlet that's about to come, this 6-game stretch that you're about to start on Wednesday, is really where you're going to find out what this team is. I mean, it could be they could go 0-6, and if you do you go belly up and you just limp all the way to the finish, or do you find a way to get to 7-8 league wins and get into the postseason and play some, maybe in the NIT and play in the postseason this year, which would be a great step from last year to this year, which, as we've said, last year was a total punt. Last year was a punt. Just crumple up on the ball, pretend like it never happened. The sanctions looming over your head. Matt McMahon inherited a roster with no scholarship players. It's just, last year was what it was. This year, can you see progress? I think you're already seeing progress. You've already won more games this year, league games, than you did all last year. But the adversity is, undeniably, the adversity is coming. How do you handle that? That'll be the interesting thing to watch over this next 6-game stretch. But manage expectations. Just realize what this team is. Like, this isn't a team that you're going to look up in a month and go, man, they're a tournament team. They're not going to be a tournament team. But how do they manage this 6-game stretch, and do they put themselves in a position where they're still competitive for those last 5 to make a push toward the postseason? That's a realistic expectation for this team. Disappointing loss on Saturday, one they could have gotten. But again, when the bar is low, you understand those things are going to happen, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised when they do better. All right, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. If you were at the Maravich Center, you could have been sitting at the very top if you had been to the Williamson Eye Center, and you'd still see perfectly. 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to williamsoneye.com. If you want to see 2020 Dr. Blake Williamson and his great team, they've helped thousands of Louisianians in their 70 years in business at the Williamson Eye Center. No matter your age or your refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center has a refractive option for you. And you might think, Matt, I can't afford that. Yes, you can. Dr. Blake tells me this all the time. He never wants finances to be something that is an impediment for people to getting what should be a right to everyone, the ability to see. And so they will work with you to set up however type of plan they need to make sure that you get the refractive procedure that you need. And it might be more affordable than you think. It's the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to williamsoneye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Remember, you can always text the show on the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Joel, earlier in the show, we were talking about Saints OC. Joel Richardson said, what about Joe Brady for Saints OC? I don't think that's going to happen because I think Buffalo is going to make Joe Brady their permanent OC. They fired Ken Dorsey midway through the season. They elevated Joe Brady from quarterbacks coach to OC, and they finished 4th in the NFL in total offense, in large part because of Joe Brady and the changes he made, mainly leaning on the running game, getting them back on track. So I think Joe Brady is going to end up being the OC in Buffalo, and his next stop will be a head coach in the NFL. He interviewed again for the Falcons head coaching job just this cycle. So, no, I don't think Joe Brady to the Saints is going to happen. But I would like to see the Saints hire a young, innovative offensive mind from one of these coaching trees, Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, something like that. So we'll see what direction they go. Our buddy Sean Fazende from Fox 8, he's going to join us next. We'll look forward to talking some black and gold. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings, and I got great news for you. Nicholson's reopened. Last week with the freeze, they had a little kitchen fire at Nicholson. Nothing severe, but they had to shut down for a few days while they cleaned some stuff up. So they're back open, and tonight and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Both locations, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, but all-you-can-eat wings is dine-in only. So get by either Pluckers location tonight. You want to watch some college basketball, you can do it. Want to watch the NBA, they'll have it there at either Pluckers location with all-you-can-eat wings tonight and every Monday. Remember, I say dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash, either one. And you can get your wings delivered right to your door or to your office if you're working late, whichever it may be. It's at Pluckers. Hey, remember, Thursday, LSU against number 1 South Carolina. If you're looking for a place to grab a bite before or after the Tigers and the Gamecocks, you can do so at Pluckers, just south of LSU's campus. Remember, it's Pluckers where, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Man, it has been a interesting, it's one adjective to use, a few weeks there on Airline Drive with the New Orleans Saints. Our buddy Sean Fazende is good enough to join us now for a couple of minutes. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. Let me start. Since you and I haven't had a chance to chat a bit, can I get your reaction to the decision to retain Dennis Allen and move on from Pete Carmichael?
I wasn't surprised. You just got to understand the way the Saints operate, the way Mickey Loomis operates. It would have taken a lot for them to move on from Dennis Allen. And had they had kind of finished out that season on a low note, and they said they won 4 out of 5, they would have had to have been forced to fire Dennis Allen. And with the finish that they had, clearly, well, at least I was I was of the thinking that he was going to survive and come back for a third season. So that certainly did not surprise me at all, especially just given the nature of how the organization operates, and given what the Saints had done for the last 5 weeks of the season. Now, the Pete Carmichael situation was certainly something that he could have gone either way, just because of the way the season ended. Like I said, not just for the team, but also offensively as well, where they certainly played better to close out the season. Just took too long for them to get to that point. Took too long for the chemistry to develop. Took too long to figure out red zone, play action, those types of things. And then at its best, Derek Carr and Pete Carmichael, who, as we're learning in the playoffs, Matt, we're learning this in the playoffs right now, how much the synergy between play caller and quarterback matters. At its absolute best, is it ever going to be good enough to be in the same league as some of these guys that are playing right now, and over the last 2 weeks, obviously, with the wild card in the divisional round? So they made the decision to move on from Pete Carmichael. Look, that was not an easy decision, not just because of the season that they had, but also this guy has done a lot for the organization. He was not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. But like anything, it kind of ran its course. In 18 years in one spot as an assistant, that's an eternity in the NFL. So now they're now the journey begins to find the new play caller, and obviously it's probably the most important hire DA is going to make.
Sean, I don't know if you know this answer, but someone asked me, and I couldn't think of anyone else. Is Pete Carmichael the longest tenured Saints assistant ever? I can't think of anybody that's been an assistant coach in New Orleans more than 18 years.
Ooh, I'd have to go back and look. As an assistant coach, I'd be hard pressed to find another one that's been there longer than 18 consecutive seasons. Yeah. Obviously, Mickey's been there since the start of the 2000s. 2000 as the assistant, and I guess 01 or 02 he took over from Mueller. But I can't think of another assistant coach that's been there for that long a period of time consecutively the way he has.
Is Mickey Loomis untouchable?
Probably. Yeah, probably. I don't think he would ever really get fired from that spot he's in. I don't think the organization would do that because of the track record of the success that he had. Obviously, when he had Sean Payton from 2006 to through 2021, it would probably be more of a situation where they would let him retire or let him move into a different role and not as much of a day-to-day guy as opposed to firing him. I don't see a situation where they would do that, because I don't think Loomis would ever get to that point in terms of if it were bad enough, he would probably voluntarily bow out or retire or move on to a different position within the organization. He's about as near as untouchable. I hate that term, but yeah, I do think I don't expect that to happen. I do think he's as near as untouchable as possible in the NFL.
He's on Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Give him a follow. All right, let's talk about OC and who replaces Pete Carmichael. Sean, we know Dan Pitcher, Zach Robinson, Shane Waldron, and now the word today about Gerard Johnson. Those are the four that the Saints have interviewed or requested interviews. Shane Waldron has reportedly taken the job with the Bears, so he's off. Before I get a reaction to any of those, are there any other names that you know of or are hearing that could be in the mix here?
Not enough to get to start the actual interview process. I'm not sure. I mean, there's been conjecture of certain names, but nothing in terms of concrete requests for interviews that may or may not be a fit. But those are would be four names, and obviously one's now certainly out of the race. All pretty much young guys, those three guys you mentioned. I think they're all under the age of 40. And I think all of those guys would be first-time play callers, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of just where they're at in their respective careers. And, of course, the one commonality that really ties them all is the fact that they're all from the McVay Shanahan coaching tree, which is obviously taken over. That style of offense has taken over the NFL right now. So, yeah, it doesn't shock me at all that they would be picking from that tree. And those are the three names left I'm talking about. Not Waldron, obviously, because he took the Bears job, but those are the three names so far. Wouldn't be shocked, though, if over the next couple of days you hear a few more names pop up in terms of the interview process.
What about an in-house guy like Ronald Curry? I'm surprised his name hasn't been talked about more openly.
Yeah, I was asked about him today. I think they'll give him a look. The problem with that is, Matt, they had multiple opportunities to turn to him during the season when things got rocky, and they never did. And they kind of let Pete Carmichael kind of work his way through there and was able to certainly figure it out by the end of the season. And now obviously he's gone, but Ronald Curry's from the same coaching tree, if you will, learning under Pete Carmichael. But I do know he's respected. I know Derek Carr has talked about him a lot positively this season. So I do think he'll be someone that they look at. I don't know if I would consider him the favorite for the job, but I do think he's someone that they would take a serious look at.
Sean, what about two other guys that we're hearing? I mean, John Gruden is one for obvious reasons. I mean, the Saints have reportedly even spoken to him when they were down in Tampa, and he was with them in camp. And then there was a report today that Chip Kelly could be a target to be an OC in the NFL again. Do either of those names you feel have any traction to them?
I would say probably Gruden more than Kelly. I hadn't seen that Chip Kelly report. Man, he's a guy that's obviously reached the top of the coaching ranks, obviously, in college football. So that would be an interesting name to certainly follow. The Gruden thing, look, he's been around since training camp. He was a guy that was around well before he got involved in any of the controversy years ago when Sean Payton was here. I remember coming to Saints camp almost every year when he was just doing the ESPN thing. So he was always around the organization. Obviously, he comes with some baggage, but I do think he's got a track record with Derek Carr, and he's a name. And, he's got a bit of a presence in terms of just, him. John Gruden, he's got a presence, and I'm not sure that they have that type of presence on this coaching staff, which may be a little bit of an issue with kind of way that things have fallen off a little bit. Or kind of stayed stale a little bit over the last couple of seasons. But I do think that that's something that's certainly an option, Gruden. I haven't heard much about the Chip Kelly thing, but the Gruden thing is certainly something to monitor, and obviously he's trying to get his career back on track. So, yeah, I think that would certainly be an option as well.
Yeah. On Twitter, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8, if you want to give him a follow. What about a timeline, Sean? Any idea when they want to have this thing wrapped up?
Yeah, I was asked about that earlier today. You got to understand Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen, in particular Mickey, it can be painfully patient sometimes. And if they have guys that they're looking at that are still playing right now, obviously that could certainly delay the process in terms of not just the interview, but obviously naming a candidate. I would think near the Super Bowl, in that window, to have an offensive coordinator on staff, or at least someone that they are honing in on to be a part of the staff. I'm not sure how much longer you can linger into the off season without that, crucial position when you talk about, free agents and drafting and all that coming up behind that. So I would think that's the window sometime early February. But man, Mickey Loomis did make a point to us in his end-of-year press conference that they're going to be very deliberate in that process. And, they're going to take their time. So we'll see what happens. But I guess just enjoy the process until it plays itself out.
Sean, I appreciate you doing the interview without chewing gum.
Man, what was up with that, huh?
You tell me, man. You were there.
Look, man, I have covered Mickey Loomis, that end-of-year press conference, every year for, the last 13, 14 years. He was fidgety. He was kind of moving in his seat. He had, this nervous energy. He was smacking that gum. And it was just unlike him. I've just never seen him in that sort of approach to that end-of-year press conference. Usually it's pretty bland. It's pretty, doesn't really say a whole lot. But he just kind of had an interesting kind of vibe about him. And it certainly caught everyone's attention. And then the gum smacking. It was uncomfortable, man. It was weird. So he said he had a cough. I hope that was the case. But, it was an interesting day for sure.
On Twitter, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
All right, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you, man. We're brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. You got, obviously, championship weekend coming up this Sunday, AFC-NFC championship game. You want to have some fun, get in the game with our friends over at DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. It's easy. If you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet. Any $5 bet. Spread, money line, prop, total, doesn't matter. Any $5 bet on the NFL playoffs, and instantly they'll give you $200 in bonus bets. Also, every NFL game day during these playoffs, every customer, new or existing customer, every customer gets a no-sweat same-game parlay. Easy. Make your bet, get your money back. Get all the terms there at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word, when you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. $5 bet on the NFL playoffs Get you 200 bonus bets instantly. It's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. 21 plus, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Opt-in required. One no-sweat token issued per eligible day after opt-in. No-sweat bonus bet issued based on amount of losing qualifying bet. Eligibility, max reward limits, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're aboard with us. I got an email from Drake. Not that Drake. What's the name of Drake's song? The Kiki, do you love me? What's the name of that song?
Oh, man.
You two were supposed... Paul, what's the name of that song?
Is that...
Is
that Nice for What? No?
I actually don't know.
How do you two not know that? I'm the one that's not supposed to know that. Y'all are supposed to know that. You're the rap guy, and you're younger than me.
I know the song. I just don't know the name of the song.
What's it called? Not Illusions. It's something like that. Blah. Anyway, different Drake emailed, said, Matt, today around 3:45-ish, you did your segment around the SEC. Why did you not include Texas and Oklahoma? It's a good question, and I have been thinking about that. Like, is it time to add Texas and Oklahoma yet? But they don't officially join the SEC until July 1. And so, like, they're playing basketball now in the Big 12. They're going to play baseball in the Big 12. So they're not in the SEC yet. I mean, should we include them?
I had it marked to have the new liners by July 1st. So, I mean, that's where I was at. That's where I was at with it, too. In My Feelings is the name of that Drake song as well, by the way.
Yeah, I was saying like you lose. It was something like that. In My Feelings. Yeah, okay. Kiki, do you love me?
Yeah.
The cool factor and street cred of this show, if it had any to begin with.
I was about to say.
If it had any to begin with, just went into negative. I mean, we didn't just bottom out. Like, we busted through the floor just now with that. None of us could come up with the name of the song In My Feelings.
Yeah.
That's pitiful.
I'm
blaming
the song.
you. You'd expect that from me. Everyone listening should expect that from me. You two, that's disappointing.
Paul more than me, though.
Well, you're young, so you should know.
Yeah.
And you're the hip-hop guy, so you should know. What do you have to say for yourself, Paul? You're sitting over there saying nothing.
Yeah, I missed on that one.
Accountability. You love to see that, at least.
I appreciate you both for your stellar contributions today.
You're welcome.
It's a good thing you two don't get paid by the word. You'd be broke.
I've been saying things all day. What
It's
are you
after
talking about?
now we're going to go to break. Well, Muse will have things to say because he's going to do Tigers and the Pros next. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout out. Presented by Darren James, brokered by LPT Realty.
Jason Smith sent this 5-star review. Darren James and his associates are the ultimate real estate dream team. I cannot overstate how happy I am with them in every aspect of my real estate needs. Another 5-star review from a real Darren James client. And I'm in that number as well. Darren helped us buy our first house, sold that, bought our second house with Darren James. So if you're buying or selling, you want the best. Guaranteed. 335-7666. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell. Or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that's number 54 on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in the country? It's Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Alert your Bama friends. Avert their ears. We're doing it again in about 10 minutes. There's more Bama tears, and I can't wait to drown in them. Muse. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's run through some of the numbers from divisional round in the NFL.
Yes.
Patrick Queen, second on the team for the Ravens in tackles with 5 of them, all of those solo stops. Did have a bit of a nagging injury there in the game. We'll keep you updated throughout the week on his status for the AFC Championship game. Derek Stingley as well in that ball game. 3 stops, 2 of those solo. Did have a really solid end to the season for the Houston Texans, but now we'll head into the offseason there. Devin White for the Buccaneers, just the 1 tackle. Of course, he's kind of been supplanted there at the linebacker spot as Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth reminded you a few different times. The interesting thing with White, he's now a free agent. So you'll remember this offseason requested a trade from Tampa Bay, didn't get it. And now we'll go into free agency. It stands to reason his time there probably over in Tampa Bay.
Bring him home.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Ready.
100%. That'd be fantastic. Really solid night for Clyde last night. 2 carries, 31 yards. Of course, the long of 28 at one point was the longest play from scrimmage for the Kansas City Chiefs until they hit Valdez-Scantling on that deep ball later in the ball game. The American Express Championship on the PGA Tour, Sam Burns finished tied for 6th, 25 under par. It's 263 for a 4-round total. Was in the final group, had a chance, was tied for the lead going into 17 and 18, put one in the water on 17, double bogey, put another one in the water on 18. That kind of ended the hope there. Shot 71, lost to an amateur. He was the only one. All of them did, because an amateur won an event on the PGA Tour for the first time since 1991, Nick Dunlap.
And hat tip to Max Gotro on Jimmy's Sunday show. Max gave out Nick Dunlap.
Whoa.
Plus 140 going into yesterday to win it. I took Max's advice, excuse me. Bet, what's his name again?
Nick Dunlap.
Something.
Nick Dunlap.
Bet it, plus 140, cash the ticket. Thank you, Max.
Pretty cool
That's
moment.
it.
You'd have loved to have been Sam Burns, but apparently that kid shot 59 as a 12-year-old. That's pretty good. That doesn't stink.
Is that good?
That didn't stink. On the Corn Ferry Tour, disappointing news. We don't even get a full round from Curtis Hobson. He withdrew. So I've been trying to figure out the reason why, if it was an injury or whatnot. There's not much concrete there, but we'll keep you up to date there. But did withdraw after his first round. One NBA note to get to. Duop Reith, another solid night, man. 16 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. This came off the bench, but 22 minutes of play for him. The Blazers got destroyed by the Lakers, but he continues to play very, very well. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. That's me, that's Terrio, that's our partner Richard Tilley, Jeff and Sherry Hudson, John Michael Garcia up in Shreveport Bossier, the original Hudco office. Been there for more than 20 years, and of course, we're thrilled to be partnered with them, taking Hudco all over the state of Louisiana. So as I tell you every day, no matter if it's commercial, residential, no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, we can help. HudcoRoofing.com. If you go to the website, look at the top of the homepage, you'll see a phone number for every area code in the state. Dial that phone number, you're going to get the local Hudco office nearest you. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential. Remember, if you got a flat metal roof, we have a silicone coating product, roughly half the cost of a roof replacement, that comes with a 20-year warranty. It's Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, here comes SportsCenter, then more Bama Tears. Burn, baby, burn!
AFR.
As we wrap up hour number 2, get a quick reminder here about South Point Volkswagen. It's a really good opportunity to remind you as well for a couple reasons. Number one, we're getting toward the end of the month. Hard to believe, but January's almost over. I mean, it's so wild. Time flies. And obviously the end of the month is usually whenever, it's a great opportunity to go buy a vehicle because you're meeting quotas and you can get good inventory and good deals, all that sort of stuff. But also it's a great time to go by South Point Volkswagen because with the weather being what it is, it's a great reminder of why having a safe vehicle on the road matters. And with the Volkswagen line, remember, you get one of 9 IIHS top safety picks. It's the highest safety designation. And you get the style, the feel, the performance of luxury. And it's manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade, time to slip away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me, like cypress stumps, your roots planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. Imaging did not show another break in the injured shoulder of 49ers receiver Deebo Samuel, giving him a chance to play in the NFC Championship game versus the Lions on Sunday. Detroit did reach a deal with veteran tight end Zach Ertz, adding him as tight end Brock Wright is dealing with a forearm injury. Ertz expected to be elevated to the active roster for Sunday. If the Lions, a 7-point underdog per ESPN bet, are to pull off the upset, their offense needs to do a couple of things, notes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
They want to run the ball and set up the play-action pass, and off the play-action pass, they want to throw the ball down the field vertical. St. Brown and the Reynolds. The secondary of the 49ers is outstanding. They leave their corners on islands, though. That's the problem. They're going to have a matchup against Lenore and Ward when they throw the ball down the field. Can their receivers win against the two corners of the 49ers?
Former Commanders coach Ron Rivera is interviewing for the Eagles defensive coordinator position. Cubs icon, Baseball Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg announced on Instagram he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer and has begun treatment.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. So, real quick, there's a little bit of news here. As we look, a lot of people are still waiting to hear what the word is going to be for LSU on offensive coordinator. I don't know that this would have necessarily been one of the candidates, but it's certainly someone that we all talked about, which was Tommy Rees, of course, who was the offensive coordinator for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, who Brian Kelly tried to hire at LSU. He stayed at Notre Dame, and then 1 year later became the offensive coordinator for Nick Saban at Alabama. Well, Matt Zenitz is reporting, and Zach Jackson, who covers the Browns for something in Akron, Ohio, his Twitter is Akron Jackson. The Cleveland Browns are working toward hiring Tommy Rees as an offensive assistant coach. So it looks like Tommy Rees will go from Alabama to the National Football League to work with the Cleveland Browns, which would remove him from consideration for the LSU OC job. I don't know that that was a direction LSU was ever even going to go, but it was a name that was obviously going to be brought up. But it appears Tommy Rees will go off to the NFL and coach with the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland!
Thank you. The only thing that I have as far as OC is the thing that I've told you for the past couple of weeks, is that everything sounded like and seemed to be trending toward doing what they did in the bowl game, which was promoting Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton as co-OCs with Sloan as the play caller. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes and what ultimately they elect to do. But it won't be Tommy Rees, as he's apparently and reportedly taking a job with the Cleveland Browns. All right, it's after further review. As you all know, very likely, no, I would be, if you're listening to the show right now, it would be hard for you not to know that over the last week and a half, nearly 2 weeks now, I've had quite a lot of fun celebrating the demise and the destruction and the dismantling of the Alabama dynasty. Nick Saban's retirement was reported while we were live on air. I celebrated, lost my voice. Subsequently, some 30 Alabama football players entered the transfer portal, and not just warm bodies, star players. A 5-star quarterback recruit. A 5-star starting safety who was the best player in their defense a year ago. Their starting center, their starting left tackle. A running back, their best receiver. Like everybody. All of the bodies are leaving. And I have celebrated every one of them. And my celebrations have garnered quite a bit of attention on Twitter.com, the internet machine, and just all over, sea to shining sea. Well, mostly in the SEC. Other SEC schools, fans are reveling in it, as we are. But Alabama fans are not happy with me. No, they are not. My Twitter mentions tell me so. But what they fail to recognize is that every time they tweet at me, all they're doing is exposing themselves further. All they're doing is fueling my machine. Fueling my hatred machine. That's all they're doing. Every time I read one of their tweets, every time they think they're taking a shot at me, all they're doing is confirming the exact thing I know, because this much I know. Alabama has been a bully in college football for the last 17 years. Don't even try to tell me I'm wrong. Alabama has been a bully, and there is one undeniable truth about a bully. What is deeply rooted in the soul of a bully is insecurity. This is psychologically true. Bullies are bullies because they are insecure. So they pick on the weak. That's what Alabama fans have been for the last 17 years. They've been the bully. But really what they are is just the little yipper dog next to the really big dog. Well, guess what? The big dog just retired. And all you are is a little yipper dog the size of a pile of poop. That's all you are. That's all that's left. And you know it. And every time I point out players leaving your program, every time I point out that it's never, ever, ever going to be the same, it strikes the emotional chord with you. It hits you deep down in your soul, and you damn well know it. You know your security blanket is gone. You know your savior, your hero, your God is retired, and it's never going to be the same again. And you know every time I point out that you just keep bringing in 3-star transfers from Washington, and you try to justify it every which way, you know I'm telling you the truth. You know your dynasty is dead, and it's never coming back, ever. And that rips your soul apart. And I love to revel in it. I love to revel in your misery. The same way that you have stepped on the collective throat of college football for the last 17 years. Payback is a bitch. And a healthy dish of it is being served cold, right in your face, day after day, after day after day. So I told you last week, and this is how predictable it is with these gumps. I told you it was going to happen. Sat right in this chair and told you. Alabama's not going to play with 40 scholarship players next year. They're going to get commitments. Of course they are. They're going to get guys out of the portal. They're going to sign high school players. You got to put together a roster. But the roster of transfers that they put together won't even sniff the caliber of roster that Nick Saban built collectively in Tuscaloosa for nearly 2 decades. And I continue to point that out. Oh, but those Bammers, they don't like that at all. You know what they're doing? They're lowering their standard. They see that Alabama gets a commitment from Parker Brailsford, and they're celebrating. Parker Brailsford signed with Washington in the class of 22. He was the number 522 overall recruit in the country. He redshirted in 2022. Let me ask you, does that sound like an Alabama offensive lineman? Doesn't sound like it to me. Yes, Parker Brailsford started all 15 games for Washington this year, and he was second team all Pac-12. Does that sound like an Alabama offensive lineman? You know who Alabama lost? Seth McLaughlin. A 2-year starter who was taking advantage of his COVID year, was going into his 5th year of college football, would have been his 3rd year starting under center for the Crimson Tide. Instead, you know where he's going? Ohio State. Last time I checked, they don't stink. Let me ask you, Crimson Tide, would you rather a 5th-year senior, 3-year starter at center, or the guy who was the number 522 overall recruit in America who redshirted at Washington? You know the answer, chump. You know the answer good and damn well, but I ain't even done. Yeah, you know what you did? You got a commitment from Jeremy Bernard. You got a commitment from Jeremy Bernard. He's a wide receiver. Washington had a pretty good offense this year. When Jeremy Bernard came out of high school, he was the number 237 recruit in the country. You know who you lost on the offensive side? You lost Isaiah Bond. When Isaiah Bond came out of high school, he was the number 52 recruit in the country. Let me ask you, dear friend, what sounds more like an Alabama receiver? The number 237 player in the country or the number 52 player in the country? You good and gosh darn well know the answer. So you've replaced Isaiah Bond with Jeremy Bernard, and you are not nearly as good at that spot. I am not even done. Oh, they're celebrating in T-Town. Not sure if you heard. They got a quarterback. His name is Austin Mack. Yep, Austin Mack, who signed with Kalen DeBoer there at Washington this year. I'll remind you as well that with Michael Penix gone and Austin Mack right there, the heir to the throne, you know what Kalen DeBoer did? He went into the transfer portal and he got Will Rogers from Mississippi State. Austin Mack, nationally ranked number 214 in the country. Austin Mack joins this roster to replace who? Julian Sayin. 5-star consensus #1 quarterback, national number 5 player overall in the country. You have replaced the number 5 overall player in the country, the #1 quarterback, a consensus 5-star, with a guy that was ranked number 214 in America that Kalen DeBoer did not even trust to play this year at Washington. Alabama, you are not better. You are decidedly worse at every single spot. I haven't even started talking about Caden Proctor, your starting left tackle, or Caleb Downs, your starting safety. You know good and well your roster has been decimated. And yeah, you're going to get commitments. And you're going to try to cry yourself to sleep and convince yourself that some former 3-star lineman who redshirted as a freshman is the guy that's going to take you back to heights, replacing a 5th-year senior at center. But you're only fooling yourself, and it's only a matter of time before they tee it up, kick it off, and you realize that every single nightmare that you have envisioned since the day Nick Saban announced his retirement is coming true. The days, we are counting down the days to that moment. And every day until that moment, I will remind you that your dynasty is over. I will remind you that you have spent 17 years being a bully. And every bully eventually is going to get popped in the nose. You're going to bleed, and you're going to run and cry to your mama. This song is so good for it, too. It's perfect. Ooh. Thank you. That's good. Yeah. I'm just going to do that every day. I mean, they just keep giving me more ammunition. Like, they don't even realize how dumb they are. They just keep giving me more and more and more. They feed me every day. If they want it to stop, ignore me. But they can't. They can't stop. They just cannot ignore me. It's so great. I mean, I think I have gotten more Twitter interactions from Alabama fans in the last 2 weeks than any other school collectively ever. It's so good. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark Downtown and the Renaissance Southtown. Get on by and see them there. They always have great events. Been telling you about evenings at the Renaissance. Remember the Watermark as well. They have great events there at the Gregory inside the Watermark. The Gregory is the beautiful restaurant right there in the lobby of the Watermark Hotel in downtown Baton Rouge. You walk in the Watermark, Louisiana's original, Baton Rouge's original high-rise building, the old Louisiana National Bank building. You walk in, you'll see a lot of the art in there. They've maintained so much of the original art and architecture of that building while they've modernized it as well. The Gregory is a great dining experience. When you walk in, they actually have a charcoal oven inside. So when you walk in, you can smell the wafting smells of that charcoal oven preparing amazing dishes. It's the Gregory, the restaurant inside the Watermark Hotel. Watermark's a great place to host your event as well. Downtown Baton Rouge, the Watermark Hotel.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com Or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Could Chip Kelly be on the short list to be the Saints OC? I want to talk about that in just a quick minute. Two things from this weekend. One, the Texans-Ravens game on ABC and ESPN generated 31.8 million viewers. I don't think television audiences always are super interesting to everybody. I just like to share it because sometimes it provides context for why the NFL dominates the way it is. And maybe that's important to mention here because in the South, we're the only geographic footprint in the country where the NFL isn't number one. Like if you look at a heat map of the entire United States of America, the entire country would list the NFL as its favorite sport. In the South, it would be college football, in the Southeast. So sometimes this does matter. And I saw this statistic, which is crazy. So Fox aired the Packers-Niners game on Saturday night. It drew 37.5 million viewers. Get this. That's on track to be the biggest Saturday night TV audience since the 1994 Winter Olympics. That was Lillehammer. That was Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding. I mean, you're talking 30 years. The biggest television audience on a Saturday night in 30 years, that Packers-49ers game on Saturday night. Biggest television audience on a Saturday night in 30 years. And it just continues to underscore how and why the NFL is so dominant. And despite the fact that people say, I'm done, I don't like the rules, I don't like the contact, I don't like that, put flags on them, whatever they say. If it was people who said they were leaving during the protest with Kaepernick or COVID or whatever it was, you were all lying because everybody came back. I mean, and even more. Every reign ends. I mean, it's if you go back 50 years and try to convince a 40-year-old man in 1960s that Major League Baseball wouldn't be the most popular sport in America, America's pastime, they would laugh you out the building. So there will come a day where the NFL isn't the dominant sport in our country. That day will come. But boy, it ain't anytime soon, pulling numbers like these. Okay. It's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Shawbills, Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, take care of your vehicle, man, especially with all this bad weather. If you need an oil change, the tire's rotated, you need your alignment checked, Shawbills can do all of that. But most importantly, they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. Always encourage you to go to the website, ShawBillsTire.com, hit the promotions tab at the top of the page, and you'll see all of the dealer specials they have. They'll work really hard combining in-house offers with manufacturer's offers to make sure they get you the best price possible. And always use that Shawbills credit card because you'll get $50 off your first purchase with the Shawbills credit card, and you'll always get great deals as well when you use your Shawbills credit card. So learn more at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, with 17 locations across South Louisiana. You can shop tires or schedule service online at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Excuse me. A little frog in my throat. Probably from yelling so much about Bama. I've been good at that the past week. So the Saints have formally requested an interview with Gerard Johnson of the Houston Texans. He's the quarterback's coach of the Houston Texans. If the name sounds familiar, he was a former Texas A&M quarterback. who's spent time in the NFL as a coach since 2017. This year, his first season as the quarterback's coach with the Houston Texans. So there are now 4 coaches that the Saints have formally requested interviews with. Dan Pitcher, the Bengals quarterback's coach, Zach Robinson, the Rams quarterback's coach, Shane Waldron, the OC from the Seahawks, and now Gerard Johnson from Houston. It is worth noting that Shane Waldron has been hired as the Bears OC, so scratch him off the list. But we've talked about John Gruden and the possibility there. We've talked about Ronald Curry, a potential in-house candidate. But another name popped up today, and this was at CBS Sports. And this report cites multiple sources telling CBS Sports that UCLA head coach Chip Kelly has been mentioned as a possible offensive coordinator by multiple head coaching candidates in this cycle. So, Kelly's been at UCLA. Just of course, the quick backstory on Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was the head coach at Oregon and had a real program and college football altering run at Oregon. When he instituted his blur offense, he changed the game with the hurry up, no huddle. He made Oregon a national brand. In 2013, he was hired by the Philadelphia Eagles. He was in Philly for 3 years when he was fired. Then he spent 1 year with the San Francisco 49ers as their head coach. Subsequently was fired. Got back into the college game in 2018 as the head coach of UCLA, where he's been ever since. And it was slow to get started at UCLA. So his overall record is only 35-34 at UCLA, one game above 500. But in the last 3 seasons, he's 25-13. So Chip Kelly, it took him a while to build it and had a COVID year in there as well. But over the last 3 seasons, you've seen the arrow point up there in Westwood. But Chip Kelly's 60 years old. And maybe at this point, as a lot of college football coaches are doing, maybe they're looking to be done with the college game. With NIL, with the transfer portal, it has never been harder than it is now to build and maintain a roster. And some of these coaches might just say, wiping my hands of it. I mean, Nick Saban's retired, and maybe a guy like Chip Kelly is saying, let me go back to the NFL where I don't have to worry about these things as I build a roster. The real question becomes, though, is Chip Kelly a desirable candidate? Last year, half of the NFL teams changed their offensive coordinator. Last year. This year, it's trending toward that number again, if not more. And there are vacancies for OC jobs right now in Cleveland, Buffalo, although I think we're all assuming Joe Brady's going to get that job in Buffalo permanently. Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Chicago was open until Shane Waldron took the job. So you scratch Chicago. And if you just consider Brady in Buffalo, it's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, New Orleans are really the 3 right now. And there could be more, of course. By the way, that's where, not counting jobs where the head coach turned over. Right? So, I mean, Atlanta is hiring a new head coach. They're obviously going to hire a new offensive coordinator as well. But my real question with Chip Kelly is, what version of Chip Kelly are you getting at 60 years old? And I want to be very honest before I go any further. I would put the odds of Chip Kelly being the Saints offensive coordinator at like 3%. I mean, I don't think it's a good chance. It sure sounds, when you look at the list of candidates the Saints have interviewed, that they're looking at the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan tree of young offensive assistants, which we've seen so many teams in the NFL do. But what version of Chip Kelly are you getting at 60 years old? How motivated is he? That's not to say at 60 you can't still coach. You can't still be great. I mean, look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid is still arguably the most innovative offensive mind in the NFL. I mean, he's been a head coach in the league for more than 20 years now. So I'm not saying it's not the case with Chip Kelly, but it's also fair to say, is Chip Kelly even an NFL coach? When he went to Philly in 2013, the Eagles finished that season second in the NFL in total offense. They were number 2 in the NFL in total offense. The next year they were 5th, then they were 12th, and he was fired. In 2016, he goes to the 49ers, and the Niners were 31st in the NFL that year in total offense. So his 4 NFL seasons, he went from 2nd to 5th to 12th to 31st. I mean, that's not exactly a positive trend. Maybe Chip Kelly's just a great college coach, a guy that can take his roster, identify talent, and coach them up to maximize their ability. But there are exceptions when you talk about guys that are older coaches, relatively speaking, right? I just mentioned Andy Reid. Kansas City was 9th this year in the NFL. And keep in mind, that's an offense that you traded away Cheetah. Like, you've lost a lot of your the core components of your offense to free agency and guys leaving. You saw this for 2 decades in New England. Guys would go to New England, they'd have success there, they'd get a free agent deal elsewhere, and they wouldn't be what they were because you didn't have Tom Brady. But as long as you got Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, it feels like that thing's going to keep churning. Mike McCarthy, you can laugh. Dallas finished this year, 5th in the NFL in offense. Mike in total offense, and they were 1st in scoring. Mike McCarthy ain't exactly a young coach, but if you look at the rest of the top 10, here's your top 10 in the NFL this year in total offense. Miami, Mike McDaniel. San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan. Detroit, Ben Johnson. Buffalo, Joe Brady. Dallas with McCarthy. Baltimore with Monken. 7, Rams, Sean McVay. 8, Philadelphia with Sirianni. 9, Chiefs, Reed. And 10 was Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, who's 38 years old. So 8 of the top 10 are all guys in their 30s, maybe early 40s, who are McVay, Shanahan, or from the McVay-Shanahan tree. That's your top 10 offenses in the NFL with 2 exceptions, McCarthy and Reed. So if you're an NFL GM, head coach, you're trying to hire an offensive coordinator, and you're saying, what has a better track record of succeeding in today's NFL? Well, 8 of the top 10 offenses are guys in their 30s who coach with McVay or Shanahan, or are McVay and Shanahan. There's 2 exceptions, McCarthy and Reed. That's it. So where do you have a better opportunity for success? Find me the young assistant that's on the come up. That's the direction I'd like to see the Saints go. It's not Chip Kelly. It's not John Gruden. It's not some other retread. Get me the young assistant that's going to have their opportunity to go build their version of this offense in this modern NFL. And it sure sounds like that's the direction the Saints are going with the candidates they've interviewed. Unless if Mickey Loomis has a wild hair, has some, wild trick up his sleeve, an ace in the hole that he's planning to hire. We just don't know who it is yet. Another day today, Monday brought another name in Gerard Johnson. Maybe tomorrow it'll be another name and another successively. We'll keep an eye. I don't have a candidate that I favor more than any, as I've said, because I think with guys that don't have a long resume, there isn't necessarily a lot there for me to say, based on what I've seen that coach do, here's why I like that coach. I think what it comes down to is you get these guys in the room and decide, okay, who's a leader of men and has a plan moving forward? And you hire that guy, whomever it may be. But I'll tell you what I don't want is a retread. What I do want is one of those young cats from that tree that have been successful basically everywhere they've gone. All right. It's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. You can email us. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bite Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can always text the show on the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. A lot to do halfway home here in the 5 o'clock hour. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, where they are hiring. We talk about Action Industries for 42 years now. Action Industries has serviced the petrochemical and refinery markets, those dozens of plants up and down the river that are so integral to our state's economy. Action Industries has serviced those plants. I'm talking to maintenance managers. I'm talking to turnaround coordinators. Action Industries, they are ASME certified. 2 offices, Highway 30 in Geismar, and then their Belrose office as well. The differentiator with Action, you talk about all these industrial contractors. If you hire Action Industries for a 100-man job, you get all of their attention. I mean, there are gigantic contractors that do great work, but are you getting their best? So many of people who may have a smaller job, that's the pain point. What are you getting with the big companies? You know what you're getting with Action Industries. It's Action Industries. Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I want to be very clear. I like Caitlin Clark a lot. So this is not an anti-Caitlin Clark segment or take at all. I think she's an awesome player and seems like a really great person as well. Great ambassador for the women's game. So I wanted to preface with that. So if you didn't see what happened on Sunday, Iowa lost in overtime to Ohio State. Yeah, and Caitlin Clark had a hell of a game, too. I think she scored 45. She scored 45 in the loss. I mean, she's ridiculous. She's amazing. People will watch her games in women's college basketball because of her. There were 18,660 people at this game, mostly because of her. So she's awesome, okay? After the game, Ohio State fans stormed the court, and Caitlin Clark got run into by a fan. And afterwards, in the postgame press conference, she says she was, quote, hammered and blindsided by the court stormer. Now, thankfully, she's okay. She said she had the wind knocked out of her. Well, when you go watch the video, like if you hear, man, I was hammered, and then you go watch the video, it's almost like in that movie Couples Retreat where Vince Vaughn's character gets bitten by the shark. You know, he had the devastating shark attack, but really he just got like nipped on the leg and he's had like a little Band-Aid. That's kind of what this felt like. So Caitlin Clark is like, the floor isn't even completely covered with people. Like it's just, they're kind of like around the logo. And so Caitlin Clark is trying to run to the locker room, and it's the fan. It's just some co-ed who's holding up her phone, unaware that anyone's running near or toward her. Caitlin Clark actually initiates the contact. It's kind of like a hip check. And when both realize it's happening, they both avoid the contact as well. I mean, this is almost like, honestly, the co-ed from Ohio State took the brunt of it. Like, she got the worst of the hit. So, I don't know, man. Like, everybody apologized afterwards, and the Ohio State coach apologized. The Ohio State AD went and apologized to Caitlin Clark as well. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not trying to come down on Caitlin Clark because she's awesome, and there's no good that comes out of this. I just found it more comical when I saw the video. Like, it felt like a soccer flop is what it felt. This felt like Euro basketball. You know, you get hip checked and you throw your hands in the air and act like you got hit by sniper fire. So, I don't know. I'm glad Caitlin Clark's okay. I'm glad nobody got really hurt. But that was a little bit of a come on, man type deal. In Bad Boys, when Mike shoots Marcus and grazes him in the butt like that. That's what that kind of felt like.
Do we get this on the not top 10? Like, is this not top 10 worthy? Do you think they go there? I think that's more the question.
They're not going to go there. Well, they might.
I mean,
not in the context I am.
But I mean,
but
just like Court
Caitlin
Stormer
Clark colliding with somebody on the court, maybe.
A huge oversell. I mean, it just was.
It was like, here's the one too. Like, there's this view, which I guess is this is the one I think from the
looks like the camera on the goal.
Yeah, the goal camera, right? So if you're not watching, like the goal, the camera on the basketball goal, like on top of the backboard, caught it as well, and it's so clearly not anything more than Caitlin Clark shoving her arms.
She protected herself. She protected her. She crosses her arms in front of her before contact
and shoves the girl.
Yes, and then does a little pirouette. I mean,
like, the court stormer who's holding her phone up took the brunt of it. Like,
she had no protection.
She got the brunt of it. There's no doubt. Anyway.
Yeah.
God bless you, Caitlin Clark. She's awesome. But everyone's kind of getting on her for this. This is the other one too. This is probably the better one. I mean, this is a textbook flop. Then she goes down to her knees, and everyone runs to her to make sure she's okay. Here it is. Here it is in slow-mo. I mean, there is just like little to no contact whatsoever. The thing that I would have been most afraid of was her knee. Like, if she had planted and got hit in the knee, like that would have been bad.
I mean, Ric Flair would have been proud of that oversell there. That's beautiful.
45 points. Good on her, though. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're looking to buy land in Louisiana, you go to First South Farm Credit. They are your first option. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. First South Farm Credit since 1916. They've helped Louisianians buy land. If it's agriculture, if it's your recreational property, you want to go buy that hunting property, First South Farm Credit can help make it a reality. And you might ask, well, why don't I go to my bank or my lender? Well, that's not what they do. For more than 100 years, what First South Farm Credit has done has helped the agricultural community and People who want to buy land for recreational purposes buy land. That's what they do. They finance land. And they've done it better than anybody for more than 100 years. It's First South Farm Credit. So go to firstsouthland.com. You've heard the commercials for years with Ben McDonald talking about financing his land. Well, that was First South Farm Credit. It's good enough for Big Ben. It's good enough for you and me. Maybe you want that rural property where you're going to build your family's dream home, that big 20-acre tract of land. Maybe you want that hunting property, whatever it may be. First South Farm Credit. 44 branches across several different states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Alabama. So they can help finance land outside of Louisiana as well. First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad you're aboard with us here. Otterlocks is coming up, so we will get... I'm looking at my Twitter. It's so funny. The Bama fans. They're making it too easy. This guy looked at my my prediction of Bama recruiting like 3 stars, essentially replacing all of their super talented guys with Washington. You know what I got to do next? Anyway, this guy says this will age like milk. Basically, my take will age like milk. What I got to do next is I got to go find some of these people who are crushing me, and I want to go back on their Twitter and find them commenting about Washington. Because there's no doubt, like, national championship game or the
in that context. In that context, okay.
Like, or playoff. I'm sure it's Pac-12. Washington doesn't belong. There's got to be that littered in there, right? Because what do SEC fans think of the Pac-12? What do entitled SEC fans think about the Pac-12?
Not real football, can't hang.
Not real football, weak on the line of scrimmage, don't belong, weak conference, soft, finesse, right?
Yeah.
Now your coach comes from Washington, and you go get all their players. Let's go, Parker Brailsford.
He was in the national championship game.
He was in the Natty. Yeah, and they got dump trucked by Michigan because they're a weak West Coast offensive line. You replace a fifth-year senior Seth McLaughlin at center, who's now going to Ohio State, with a guy that was red-shirted as a freshman at Washington. I'm sure it's going to go great, though. All right, it's after further. What did Ott just text us? Did he have an early pick?
Well, it said KU first half.
But... he can't talk right now.
Oh.
All right, his pick is Kansas first half. Let's see if he's got anything else. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out our final break of the show. Normally, we have Otterlocks next, but it looks like Ott is not available to join us. We'll see if he's got any other picks. Stick with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. Had that freeze over the weekend again. If your heater isn't keeping up, acting as it should, maybe funny noises, funny smells, call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. I mention it to you all the time. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, and weekends. That's River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. So if you have an issue with your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air. If it needs to be replaced, call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll do right. Remember, they will never replace your system without getting a second opinion. If that's the recommendation that you need a system replaced, they will call another technician out to get a second opinion just to make absolutely sure their recommendation is right. They treat you right. That's why I will always be a customer. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. Always appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. If you need windows, doors, siding, or interior shutters, Relief Windows, they're the best. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. What?
You ever see Jeff Dunham's old stand-ups with the puppets when he .com? That's what that just reminded me of.
I saw Jeff Dunham in 1990. It was either 1997 or 1998. I was in Key Club. We had a convention, and he did a set at one of the conventions one year, and it was either in Nashville or Atlanta one of those years. Went to Nashville, Atlanta, 99 with Chicago. Might have been Chicago. Either way, I saw Jeff Dunham before anybody knew who Jeff Dunham was.
Yeah, he had a good run too, man. He had a really good run.
He did the jalapeno on a stick.
Yeah.
Guy. I remember seeing that like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, really good. Very talented guy. What was I going to do? I was doing something and you interrupted me. Well, no, Otter isn't here.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean. We had to give his play out.
Oh, Otter. Okay, so Otter texted us. He couldn't come. He said, I can't talk right now. His play is Kansas first half. So Kansas is playing Cincinnati. The first half is Kansas minus 4.5. So that's Otter's play for tonight. I'll let you know. DraftKings has a 50% boost on that game. Now, it's a maximum bet of $25. So I would recommend you use it, right? I mean, always use the boost. So even if you want to bet more, split your bet, use the boost on part of it and bet more if you want. But so the first half, Kansas first half against Cincinnati, which is Kansas minus 4.5. And if you're on the DraftKings app, use that profit. I mean, a 50% profit boost. It brings it to plus 130 as your odds. So use it. All right. Let's see. A couple of things here. I got a text into the show from Christian who said, is Baker Mayfield a bridge guy in Tampa, or did he earn himself more this year? Also, could we get a really fast baseball preview? Yes and yes. So Baker, I don't think there's any doubt he earned himself another contract in Tampa. They're obviously not going to re-sign or go to Kyle Trask, I should say. Baker was on a one-year deal in Tampa, a one-year prove-it deal. They won the division, got to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and got you into the divisional round. Like, I would be stunned if Baker Mayfield wasn't back. The question is, do they offer him a 2-year deal and draft a quarterback this year? Is there somewhere like that they feel like they can groom if it's not going to be Kyle Trask? And do they feel like Baker Mayfield's the guy that can get him over hump to win a championship? I don't know all the answer to that, but I would be stunned if Baker isn't back in Tampa next year. And quite honestly, you may have a market for him, because if there's other teams that are in the market for a quarterback and aren't in a position to draft one or want to have a veteran along with the guy they draft, all of a sudden Baker has a market for his services. And you could look around the NFL and see the teams that might make sense for. Not just Tampa, but I mean, is Kenny Pickett the guy in Pittsburgh? If he's healthy, I don't know. That could be a spot where it would make sense. What in the world do you do in Cleveland? I mean, they got a ton of money invested in Deshaun Watson, obviously, but Joe Flacco just got you to the postseason. There are places where you got young quarterbacks that are starting. You know the answer. What happens with Kirk Cousins? I mean, all I'm saying is there could be a market. What is Aaron Rodgers going back to the Jets? I would assume so, but who knows? There's going to be a market for that guy. So, I mean, good on him. You sign a 1-year prove-it deal, and you prove it, and you get another deal. As far as a quick baseball preview, last night was the LSU baseball first pitch banquet, and this Friday is the start of workouts for LSU. So you're a few weeks away from the start of the season, and I'm excited about it, man. They are a team that, while you're not going to have Skeens and Cruz, obviously you lose the Golden Spikes Award winner and the National Pitcher of the Year, Dick Hauser Award winner. You should be a more talented team than you were last year. You will have a deeper pitching staff than you had last year. And it's going to be fun to watch it all come together. But expectations, that team should be finishing its season in Omaha, hopefully with a dog pile. But if they're not in Omaha, something went wrong. Okay, y'all, that's going to do it for us. Muse Pauly, I appreciate you. Y'all have an awesome night. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Wherever you get your podcast, just search After Further Review. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Hey, we're brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com, and we are 1 week away. 1 week away from the start of preseason practice for the spring baseball and softball leagues over at Traction. So I've been reminding you about it, and the clock is now ticking. 7 days away from the start of practice. If your son or daughter is planning on playing in one of the Traction baseball leagues or Traction softball league this spring, you got to get them registered. So go to TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. You'll see, just follow the prompts. You'll see exactly where it is. You can always call over there to get them registered. But workouts start a week from today, so make sure your son or daughter is registered if they want to be in the baseball league for Traction or the first ever spring softball league over at Traction. It's TractionSports.com. And I'll always tell you about Traction Elite Physical Therapy. Whatever your ailment may be, if you need PT, there's nobody better than Traction. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. It's Traction, where champions are made.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year then by taking your boat to the next level, get the boat of your dreams, and that where front to back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for